I met Alex when I was 38. He was charming, kind, and everything I thought I wanted. Neither of us had children, and we bonded over dreams of a future together. But deep down, I knew time was not on my side. I wanted kids. I wanted a family. In the first year of our relationship, I felt the urge to bring up marriage, but I hesitated. I didn't want to seem desperate, even though I was. Instead, I told myself, give it time. If he feels the same way, he'll bring it up. 3 years went by. 3 long years of love, laughter, and moments where I thought, this is it. He's the one. One evening, as we sat together watching a movie, I finally mustered the courage to ask, Alex, where do you see us in the future? Do you think about marriage? I'll never forget the way he looked at me. His smile faded, replaced by a distant look. He avoided the question, mumbled something about timing and figuring things out, and quickly changed the subject. I told myself it wasn't a no. Maybe he just needed more time. As the years rolled on, the excuses piled up. He would say, let's save up first. I need to focus on my career. Marriage doesn't change anything, does it? Let's wait a few more years. I've seen too many failed marriages. We're happy as we are. Why ruin it? Marriage is just a piece of paper. Each time I listened to his excuses, I felt a pang of disappointment, but I convinced myself he'd come around. After all, we loved each other. 10 years. That's how long I waited for Alex to decide if I was worth forever. One day, we attended a friend's wedding. I watched the bride and groom exchange vows, their faces glowing with love and commitment. I couldn't help but imagine myself in her place. On the way home, I asked Alex, will we ever have that? This time he didn't dodge the question. He sighed deeply and said, I don't think I see myself getting married, ever. His words hit me like a thunderbolt. 10 years of my life, my hopes, my dreams, all shattered in an instant. I spent days, weeks, even months contemplating whether or not I should walk away from the relationship. Could I even leave after everything we'd built together? I was terrified. Terrified that if I left him, no other man would want me. I wasn't that beautiful, not the kind of girl men dream of marrying. I was getting older, and the thought of starting over made my heart race. I'm almost 48 and about to hit menopause. Who would want me at my age? The idea of being alone, of starting from scratch, seemed unbearable. I had spent so much of my life wrapped up in the security of our relationship that the thought of losing it all was terrifying. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to see my best friend Lena. She had always been the voice of reason, the one who could make me see things clearly when my emotions got in the way. I poured my heart out to her, telling her everything. How much I loved Alex, how much I wanted to be with him forever, and how he kept avoiding the topic of marriage. I could feel the tears welling up as I spoke, my words choking with emotion. Lena listened quietly, her eyes full of empathy. After I finished, there was a long pause. Finally, she spoke. Do you love yourself enough to walk away? She asked, her voice soft but firm. Her words hit me like a wave. I didn't know how to answer. Did I love myself enough? Did I respect myself enough to walk away from a relationship that wasn't giving me what I needed? I had spent so much time questioning whether Alex loved me, but I had never stopped to ask myself if I was giving myself the love and respect I deserved. Lena continued, You're worth more than just waiting for a man who doesn't see a future with you. You're strong. You can do this. Her words stuck with me, even after I left her house that night. I didn't want to hear it, but deep down, I knew she was right. I had been clinging to a dream, hoping that one day Alex would wake up and realize he wanted to marry me. But I had ignored the signs, the years of hesitation, the evasions, the empty promises. The truth was, he wasn't ready for marriage, and maybe he never would be. It took me a while to make the decision, but after weeks of thinking, crying, and questioning myself, I finally did it. I walked away from Alex. I left the man I had spent a decade with, the one I had imagined my whole future with. It was the hardest decision I've ever made, but I knew it was the right one. I had to let go, even if it meant facing the fear of being alone. 6 months after our breakup, I was scrolling through social media when something caught my eye. I'd been trying to stay away from anything that reminded me of Alex. I had unfollowed him, deleted photos of us, and told myself I was moving on. But that day, something pulled me back in. I stumbled upon a post. It was a wedding photo, a picture of Alex, smiling in a suit, standing next to none other than Lena. My heart stopped. My breath caught in my throat. I stared at the screen in disbelief. The woman who had told me to leave, the woman who had been my best friend for years, was now standing next to the man I had loved for 10 years, exchanging vows. They were married. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. I couldn't breathe. My head spun as I scrolled through more photos, each one a reminder of the life they had started together. It wasn't just that they were married. It was the fact that all those years I had spent loving Alex, hoping for a future that would never come, had been wasted. It was all a lie. I thought back to all the times I had gone to Lena for advice, the times I had leaned on her when things were tough between Alex and me. How could she have done this? How could she have known all the pain I was going through and still choose to be with the man who had kept me hanging on for so long? I couldn't help but feel betrayed. The anger rushed through me in waves. I wanted to call her, to yell at her, to demand answers. But deep down, I knew there was nothing left to say. The truth was out there, and the reality of it stung. It wasn't just that Alex had chosen Lena over me. It was that I had been so blind to the signs. I had been too afraid to see the truth about him, and about her. But as much as it hurt, something inside me shifted. That moment, painful as it was, gave me the closure I needed. I had spent so long wondering if I made the right choice leaving Alex. Seeing them together, happy and married, made me realize that I did. I had walked away from a relationship that wasn't giving me what I deserved, even though it had been the hardest thing I had ever done. I didn't need to be with someone who couldn't commit, and I didn't need to keep holding on to a friendship that was built on lies. I had let go of both, and while it still hurt, I knew it was the best decision I could have made. I wasn't perfect, but I was enough. I was strong, and I was learning how to love myself again. To those who have been through similar heartbreak, I know how it feels. The disappointment, the heartbreak, and the overwhelming sense of loss after investing years in someone who couldn't or wouldn't commit. It's not just about the relationship ending. It's the dreams you built together that suddenly vanish. The what-ifs and what could-have-beens can haunt you, making you question yourself, your choices, and your future. But let me remind you of something. This is not a reflection of your worth. You are not less because someone couldn't see the beauty of committing to you. Sometimes people fail to align with the dreams we hold dear, not because you asked for too much, but because they weren't equipped to give what you deserve. Walking away from a relationship, especially one where you've invested so much time, love, and hope, is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. But it's also one of the bravest. It takes incredible courage to choose yourself, to say, I deserve more than empty promises or indefinite waiting. You might feel lonely right now, but this is a sacred time. It's a time to rediscover who you are outside of the relationship. It's an opportunity to reconnect with your own dreams, goals, and passions. Think of the things you may have put aside while waiting for them to decide. Now is the time to pick those up again, to invest in yourself the way you invested in them. Know that healing isn't linear. There will be days when you feel strong and hopeful, and there will be days when the sadness feels unbearable. That's okay. Allow yourself to grieve the loss, but don't let it define you. You're allowed to mourn the years you spent and the love you gave, but don't let that mourning keep you stuck in the past. Most importantly, don't let this experience make you bitter. Instead, Let it make you wiser. Now, you know what you want, what you need, and what you won't settle for again. You've learned that love isn't just about time or shared memories. It's about alignment, commitment, and mutual respect. Your story doesn't end here. In fact, this is the beginning of a new chapter, one where you write your own happiness, where you refuse to compromise your dreams, and where you make space for someone who will meet you halfway. The right person for you will not make you beg for love, attention, or commitment. They will cherish you, choose you, and align their actions with their words. And until that person comes along, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Love yourself fiercely. Chase your dreams unapologetically. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and remind you of your worth. And when the time is right, love will find you again, stronger, better, and more aligned with your heart. You've already proven how strong you are by making the choice to move on. Keep going. The future holds something extraordinary for you. You are worthy. You are enough. And you are destined for a love and life that truly fulfills you.